Welcome, everyone, to the Best of Markham podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from FitnessSolutionsPlus.ca, your personal trainers for chronic conditions. Here with me today is Rowena Leung. Yes, is that how I pronounce it correct? Yes,
Yes, I mean Rowena Leung, but
Leung. Yes.
Leung, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, no problem. You speak Cantonese Mandarin?
Both.
Oh, 我说的不好.
Yeah, 还好啊，蛮好。
Or in Cantonese, 我讲得唔好.
Oh, 講得係 OK，都 OK 啦。
Okay, I'm going. For viewers and listeners who don't know what we just said, in both Mandarin and Cantonese, I just said I don't speak very well. Um, so yes, here with me today is Rowena Leung. And Rowena, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. So with that being said, I've been a dietitian and a certified diabetes educator, and I've been in the field for 17 years. I am trilingual, so that means I can speak English, Cantonese, and Mandarin fluently, with a basic sort of basic knowledge of French and Chinese. So with a little bit of tutoring, I was able to, go around France and converse with people in French, but I would say primarily English, Cantonese, and French, or Cantonese and Mandarin. I've worked in all segments of the my field, the dietetics. With it being said, the hospital, diabetes education center, family health team, long-term care home, retirement home, industry. Specifically, I worked in the retail space for 12 years, so I have, a really good grasp on the practical side of knowledge. And then I did a little bit of media. I currently am in private practice and I do academia. I do teach at the post-secondary level at McMaster for the continuing education. And I also do have my master's of education through U of T, Boise.
Wow, so you've done a lot. You've
Yeah.
done it all. Awesome. How did you first get into dietetics?
So funny story, I actually thought after high school, I actually didn't know that the field of dietetics existed. So I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist. So I have a sister who's 2 years younger than me, and she was actually looking into programs to study, and she was the one who stumbled across nutrition. And she's like, Rowena, I do think this field is you. You sound like you would do very well in this field. And that's really how I got into dietetics and I never looked back. So I was at Dalhousie originally because I thought that, out there's also a school of pharmacy. But then quickly I realized there's the out of province little component. So really, I needed to come back here. So I actually did my undergrad at Western. And I did my internship at St. Michael's Hospital, which is now called Unity Health.
Mhm.
Then from there, after St. Michael's, I wrote the exam, and then my first job was actually at the Diabetes Education Center in the family health team. But why I can say that, I am fully trilingual is because growing up, my mom's from Shanghai, my dad's from Hong Kong. So at home, we spoke Cantonese, but every Friday and Saturday, Friday night was Mandarin class, Saturday was Mandarin class.
Yeah.
And my first job was at a place, it still is here, CareFirst Family Health Team. But back then in 2008, CareFirst Family Health Team would be one of the first family health teams whose mandate is to serve the South Asian and Asian population.
Yeah.
So so from my understanding, the parent company is called CareFirst Community Service for Seniors,
Yeah.
right? So I thought CareFirst Family Health Team would be no different than any other family health team. English would be the mainstream language you would use to communicate every day. I went into the interview and they were like, "So tell me everything that you would say about weight management in Cantonese." And I kid you not, I stretched out the word welcome as long as I could because at that point in time I grew up speaking Canton, like I had the knowledge of Cantonese and Mandarin, but really nobody knew I could speak the other languages. During internship, I used it a little bit, but
Yeah.
again, most people would just say you're English, right? And then when I got the job, I would say that I'm using the language skills 95% of the time. And that has been a theme that has carried on my career until today. So I would say my niche is actually to serve the Chinese Canadians or anybody who would like a culturally competent service. And we can talk about that further as you like have other questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get into it right now. So, what
Yeah.
do you mean by culturally competent service?
Yeah, so what I mean by so CareFirst Family Health Team, well, first one of the first to really serve these populations. And so from a cultural perspective, first of all, the language, right? But understanding the diet. So South Asian and Asian, very different. But again, I have been able to travel to India. But again, that's just to say that, I have seen, I have experienced. We went there for a friend's wedding. It was
Yeah.
in Chandikar, right? But also just firsthand experience, I understand what their cultural food is like. And when they say that, a lot of oil goes in, I was also very surprised to see how much oil goes into making certain dishes.
Yeah.
But going back to, again, culturally competent, but that it's understanding the culture, it's understanding the food. Of course, I don't speak any of the South Asian languages, but again, it was 95% of the time. Most of them were Chinese.
Yeah.
But having said that, yes, Chinese Canadians, we all eat differently depending on the region of whether it's Hong Kong or China, even within China, such a big country,
Yeah.
depending on the region, very, very different. But when it comes to diabetes education, the principles, I would say, are similar, right? You got to watch your carbohydrates, eat more vegetables, make sure you have enough protein. So at that point in time, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see what else is out there.
Yeah.
So I go online and I see that there's a job posting called Mon Sheong long-term care, asking for a part-time dietitian, 6 hours a week. So at the time at the family health team, I worked 2 evenings. So what happened was I would go to the long-term care 2 days a week in the morning, and then I would hop over to the family health team. So again, Mon Sheong, if you don't know, it's a second organization that services Chinese Canadians.
Mhm.
And they've now expanded to four long-term care homes,
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of private cares, and three are breaking ground. Three
Right.
more long-term care. So they really are quickly expanding for the Chinese Canadians, which is great. But again, this long-term care facility is specifically for Chinese Canadians. And if you've ever been to the facility or you know somebody who has been, you will see that the menu is completely catered for a Chinese Canadian to the palate and everything. Now, the newer site in Stouffville, what is interesting is that it's more multicultural. So there you will see a menu who's not specifically for Chinese Canadians, which is interesting, right? So from Mongsheng, from CareFirst, building up this, Chinese Canadian or niche.
Yeah.
Then Yee Hong comes and approaches me and says, do you want to do talks for caregivers and the seniors who live within the community? So here I also think it's really important to highlight, I like to give back to the community. I
Yeah.
do think it's really important. So I do volunteer for Yee Hong Centre for Geriatric Care. And this is an organization that I've helped since 2010.
Mhm.
And what I usually do is I give a talk on a quarterly basis on a topic they're interested in. So it could be diabetes, it could be heart health, it could be bone health, kidney disease. 3 tips to control the three highs, the high triglycerides, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, right? And I've even had like, grocery store tips or how to manage your eating habits during Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, right? Um, but as the years progressed and as we know, the pandemic happened and everything shut down, the seniors became a very vulnerable population. And here is where I, thought of, oh, why don't I? offer virtual cooking classes
Yeah.
because then it can really engage with the seniors. They can learn and it can help the information stick. So from 2020 onwards, I've been able to offer virtual cooking classes to the seniors who live within the community and their caregivers. So specifically, yes, they could be general healthy seniors who
Yeah.
want to just learn more to prevent, the natural aging process.
Yeah.
But I've also worked specifically with individuals who have Parkinson's or dementia. So again, giving the caregivers a little bit of respite.
Wow. That's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Oh, and then I guess tacking on the reason why I say again, again, it just this cultural competence keeps reappearing is that when I got my certified diabetes educator and all these organizations approached me, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to really embark on a new journey. So I went online again,
Yeah.
and that's where I saw Loblaws.
Yeah.
And I said, what could Loblaws possibly want from a dietitian? And when I got hired, I was the first retail dietitian to be part of this project. And
Yeah.
at the time, this was a pilot, so it was being run out of Richmond Hill, Markham, Bayview Village, and Forest Hill. And the only reason why I got put up to Markham and Richmond Hill, because I actually live closer to Bayview Village and
Yeah.
Forest Hill, uh, is because of the one question they asked, do you speak any other languages?
Yes.
Right? And up I went. And growing up, I told myself, I'm never going to be anywhere close to Markville Mall. And look at where I was for
Yeah.
7 years of my life, right? So, again, never say never. And that Loblaws really gave me a good variety of what it's like to run your own business. But again, I was a salaried employee, but I was giving grocery store tours to all segments of the population, JK to grade 12, pregnant women, new moms with young kids, seniors, um, second year medical students from U of T, family medicine residents from Sunnybrook, right? So anybody who really wanted to utilize Loblaws as a community resource, I would work together with the cooking school very closely. And now here I currently sit in my office at 141 Main Street, Unionville, and I collaborate with three general surgeons who practice out of Markham Stouffville Hospital. They are known as the Unionville General Surgeons. So they are downstairs and I'm upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And you asked one of my questions I was going to ask, which is how do you go about getting new clients? Do you have to find your own, or are they referred to by the surgeons? So,
So,
yeah.
so because of what I just told you, yes. So this is my own space, and I can see other people beyond,
Mhm.
who they refer. So
Right.
because of who I collaborate with now, I do see a lot of oncology patients, GI issues,
Yeah.
and also weight management related to hernia surgery. But again, because of what I just told you, the niche that I have, anybody who requires the language component,
Yeah.
they can come to me, and oftentimes it comes down to uh, seniors' health,
Yeah.
right? Or meal prepping, young families, food allergies, food sensitivities, but also I've also been able to collaborate with other healthcare professionals, so family doctors who are prescribing individuals Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, any of the weight loss medications. I really like how one of the family doctors who refer me works because in order for that patient to even be started on this type of weight management medication, she's like, you have to go see a dietitian because without the lifestyle changes and without the consistency of protein intake,
Mhm.
the weight loss you achieve may not be exactly the weight loss you desire.
Yeah, it's not fat loss. It's a lot of a combination of fat loss and lean tissue.
Exactly, which you can appreciate, right? So she's really pushing the exercise and the protein, and as a family physician, you just don't have enough time, right? Like you have to just push through the patient. An endocrinologist, right? So, and then I also do work with cardiologists. So really, I'm all for multidisciplinary collaborative approach.
Yeah.
I have worked with physios in the past, and that clinic would be at Young and Lawrence by the
Mhm.
name of Fairlawn Physiotherapy and Rehabilitation Center. But because, again, drawing from my Loblaws days, I have worked with naturopaths, I have worked with kinesiologists and personal trainers. But
Yeah.
even further back, I was part of a multidisciplinary healthcare team back when I did consult for Woodbine Medical Center. And we're talking about this weight management program. It was probably the most comprehensive I've ever seen. So we had the holistic nutritionist, we had myself, we had the pharmacist, we had a psychotherapist, we had a kinesiologist, we had a personal trainer, we had the MD, and so many social worker, so many disciplines. But really, that in some ways are what patients need, right?
Yeah.
Because weight loss is so
Yeah. That's
multifactorial.
really, yeah. Okay. Exactly. So you get a bunch of referrals from all over the place, but but some of your patients come from from sources
Yeah.
of referrals. So the ones who don't come from referrals, where do they come from?
Sorry, if they're not from referrals. Oh, okay. So, um, sometimes through Dietitians of Canada, the website, because as you know,
Yeah.
as a licensed individual, so I'm licensed or I'm listed through the College of Dietitians of Ontario, but our own advocacy group is called Dietitians of Canada, and I will have a profile there. But there's also another website called healthprofs.com, and sometimes people will just blindly call me too, and we will set up and chat. And if we're a great fit for each other, then that's great.
Yeah. Awesome. You have those easy streams going for you.
Exactly.
What are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
So to me, and that's why I highlighted the cooking class initiatives. I think it's a really exciting initiative for more people to take advantage of. Just because in the one-on-one situations, we dive deep, right? A lot of the times for me, people are like, well, you talk about food. I mean, why don't you just give me a meal plan? Just tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
I don't like that response because a meal plan doesn't work for everybody because
Right.
I need to know what you eat. Because if you are somebody who is right at the beginning and I'm telling you to eat quinoa, freekeh, buckwheat, maybe you'll do it for 3 days and afterwards you're like, this is gross. Like, this is not anything that I can relate to, and this is nothing that my family would even consider. And
Yeah.
then I haven't taken into consideration the budget
Yeah.
or right? Other factors. So, really, in that first initial assessment, yes, I want to see a 3 day food record, 2 weekday days, and one weekend day, just because I find most individuals, if they are working hybrid, working from home versus in the office, very different. And then for many individuals, Friday to Sunday, a very different picture for the eating habits,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then from there, that serves as the basis of discussion for our first appointment because really it's a back and forth conversation, and it to a certain extent it is a negotiation,
Yeah.
right? And for me, I'm here to give you advice, but in the framework of what you're ready to do. I
Yes.
can I can tell you what sort of the ultimate gold standard would be, but perhaps that person would be like, you know what? I know, but I've tried and I can't do it. So let's I don't want to say set the bar lower, but it's like get to a point where you feel confident and you can do it consistently so
Yeah.
that we can work to a bigger goal, right? So that it
Yeah.
can be possible.
Yeah, even from just a behavior change perspective, you're like, maybe this is maybe you should be having buckwheat with broccoli and chicken. But realistically, what you're eating right now is a Big Mac and fries. So maybe you won't go from here to there, but let's find something that's closer to there that you can actually do.
Exactly. So you're speaking my language, right? So I'm all about just realistic, small changes, and I always tell people, eventually, if I'm doing my job right, I will discharge you. I don't plan on seeing you for a lifetime because I really believe if I teach you the skills that you are able to self-manage, that's how you're going to maintain these changes,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
Mhm.
I always tell my clients the goal is progress, not perfection.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Let's just do something a little better than you did last week. Not a whole lot better, just a little better. You know?
exactly.
Yeah, totally. What obstacles have you encountered in your time as a dietitian?
I think kind of what we're talking about. I think the biggest obstacle is that people have expectations. They want quick fixes. They don't like the whole message of slow and steady.
Yeah, yeah,
Or patients are just too hard on themselves.
yeah,
They come in and during that initial appointment, they've disclosed many, many reasons of why the relationship with food is the way it is. And even if, the questions that I ask, they're like, but this, but this, but that, and I'm trying to change the mindset or what is the first thing you want to work on, right?
yeah,
So I think the obstacle is just helping people see that change is possible,
yeah,
but we just have to pick one thing to start. And as soon as you see change in one area, it can lead to better things in another area. But we just got to start somewhere. And I don't think everybody is okay with that message because social media or this friend or relative says I tried this and I got immediate results, 5 pounds in a week, or I did this juice cleanse and wow, it's like 10 pounds in a week, but the minute that they eat they're like,
yeah.
oh yeah, mm-hmm.
It's all back. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's very, very challenging, especially when, hey, people know it's supposed to be a lifestyle. This is from now to the rest of your life.
exactly.
But the way it's marketed is here's a 12-week program to get you shredded by summer.
Exactly. And so that's why for me, how I work is exactly to your point. Some friends who are looking for collaboration, they're like, do you have like a 6-week program, a 12-week program? And I said, not really, because my philosophy is it's a lifestyle. So we can talk about e-modules promoting a lifestyle change, but I'm never going to say in 6 weeks you will lose X amount of weight because everybody truly is different.
Yeah, yeah. A, depends how your body, and B, how's your compliance, you know?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out what's the when I'm counseling clients, I'm trying to figure out what's the simplest, easiest, least time-consuming thing you can do that's going to lead to the biggest results. Not
Ex-
like what can we change about everything. We have to make the
Exactly.
program fit you, not you fit the program.
Exactly, exactly. So this is great, just having conversation with another like-minded individual.
Yeah, yeah. Just from a behavioral perspective, from a long-term behavior change, this makes a lot more sense than let's change everything right now and for 2 weeks, and then you go back to the way you used to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. What are you doing in your free time?
So what I haven't mentioned yet is I have since the pandemic I've become a mother of two. So one son is 3.5 and my daughter is 5 years old. And I have a mini golden doodle who's 6 years old, who will be 7 at the end of this year. But so between juggling all of them and their extracurriculars, I do like to do reformer Pilates.
Nice.
I used to really, really love to run. I'm trying to get back into it.
Cool.
I also love to swim. I have started to do kickboxing with a friend.
Nice.
And so these are all things that I'm working towards, and tennis. So
Oh,
I love tennis and I'm lucky to be able to play year round, but unfortunately right now when the bubbles come down, if rain comes like last week, I get
yeah,
rained out. So I do something called cardio tennis. I'm
yeah,
not able to play as many matches as I'd like. I used to play in a league in doubles,
yeah.
but right now it's just get out, have fun. It's more focused on reformer Pilates and the running. But I also want to make sure that I do enough weight training. So I have incorporated circuit
Yeah, yeah,
training
excellent.
once a
Yeah.
week.
I often say circuit training for a non-competitive athlete is the best thing you can do.
Right? But it's hard. It's hard. And so I will say that my daughter was born in 2020, my son was born in 2021. And then I've tried to be more consistent, but starting this year, I'm
Yeah,
like, no, and I've literally carved out time for myself. Monday being the day to do circuit and reformers, Thursday is reformers, and then Tuesday is tennis. And
yeah,
then any other time in the morning, I find I'm very much a morning person as opposed to the evening.
Yeah,
That's when the runs would occur. Unfortunately, the kickboxing is at 7 p.m. and I'm doing it because my friend really wants accountability, but
yeah,
we've both agreed that 7 p.m. is not an ideal time just because right after dinner it's not enough time to
yeah,
digest and it's just awkward, right?
yeah. Better to get in a workout than at a bad time than no workout at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get
Exactly.
it. My wife, funny enough, is right now heading off to a reformer Pilates class near us.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, at Club Pilates. Where do you do yours?
Oh, okay. So I want to check that place out, but I do it at the Granite.
Oh yeah, yeah, Grounded Club's
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. Where are you running just for leisure, or you you?
Oh, yes. So previously I had done a half marathon, but this is before kids, right? So
Yeah,
I've done the 5, the 10, and the half. And before having kids, I thought in my lifetime I could do a full,
yeah,
but right now I'm starting back out again. So right now my distance is seven
nice.
kilometers. But I want to work up to a full. And so this is the test, whether or not I'm able to sign up for October's marathon.
Oh,
But
aggressive.
it would like at this pace, it would be for a half, not for the full.
Okay. Yeah. By October, the full would be very aggressive.
Exactly, exactly. It would be the for the half.
Yeah, yeah. Most of my life, I've been a strength power athlete. So I've done martial arts for about 12 years and
Yes.
powerlifting for 12 years as well, just like somewhat of an overlap.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I retired from powerlifting in 2017. But my competitive spirit still burns. Like I still want to compete in something. I want a competition, something to train for.
Yeah.
I don't want to do powerlifting anymore. Once I've deadlifted triple body weight, I'm like, that's good. I don't want to lift any more weight than that. Uh,
Yeah.
so now I'm thinking, what else can I do? So I signed up for a 5K race. I think it's June 14th or 15th. My first,
Oh, is
yeah.
that the Under Armour one?
No, it's the one in Stouffville for the Markham Stouffville Hospital.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
So my goal, I mean, my ultimate goal, I don't think I'll make it this race. Ultimate goal is to run in under 20 minutes. Um,
Oh,
I'm getting close, but I don't think I'll crack 20 minutes in this race. Probably about
right.
2050, somewhere there.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's nice to have something to train for, not just work out, but train.
exactly. It's a very different mindset, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice to strive for and get better at.
That's so good. Well, I'm glad your wife is also into reformer Pilates because a lot of the times it's so interesting because for clients or patients, if they have like a lot of back pain or whatnot, or if they're considering something to incorporate a little bit of resistance, I do talk about reformer.
Yeah, yeah,
They
it's
can
a good way to go.
help correct a lot of things like posture wise and
Yeah, yeah. And funny
Mhm.
enough, we've been playing tennis for about 4 years, but just this year we started taking lessons. We
Oh,
love playing, but because we've been doing it on our own, we developed probably so many bad habits that now the lessons we hope the lessons will undo our bad habits.
which is so good. And it's such a social sport. So,
Oh yeah.
yay.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you also play at Grand Club or somewhere else?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I used to be at
Yeah,
yeah, the Wanless Tennis Club.
yeah,
But silly me, I gave up my spot because I wasn't playing when I got pregnant. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could get back on the list. And oh my gosh, the pandemic happened and
yeah,
everybody under the sun wanted to. So
yeah.
I'm back on the wait list, but now I'm still number 136 or something like that.
Yeah, that's just like us. We have a membership at I don't know if you know at Henry Farm on
Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, on less than 401, and that's an outdoor club, which is great.
Yeah.
It's not you can't play there in the winter. So we tried
Exactly.
finding a club that you can play in the winter, and the waiting list for that is 2 to 3 years long. And just like
Exactly.
we're something like we've been on the list for about 2.5 years. We're right now number like 61 or something like that.
Exactly. So everybody's just waiting because for me, I just want more options, right? Because it's
Yeah.
so popular. And even let's say at the Granite, it can be hard to book a court if you can believe it. With the 16 courts, somebody's always playing there.
Yeah, makes sense with a membership that high, make
Yeah.
perfect sense. Plus you got to use it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm glad to be speaking to another fellow potential tennis enthusiast.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Lastly, since this is, after all, a Best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
Okay, so I gave this a very hard, long thought, And my top answer would be Organics Farm.
Nice.
I go there every year, with or without kids to pick the Honey Crisp.
Yeah.
But I also went for strawberry picking. And then in terms of duo patisserie, I think it's hard to beat. But
Yeah.
across the street from me, there's Behind the Alley for coffee. I think it's really cute. It's like the beans are imported from Japan.
Oh,
And it's honestly like you could take a little break or whatnot. But I think those would be my top spots in Markham. I'm embarrassed to say. I have yet to try one of those head spas.
yeah.
They have intrigued me, but I just haven't had the time.
Okay. Yeah. I tried it once for the first time, actually on Main Street, Unionville, about a year ago. It was pretty good.
Yes.
The name.
Yeah, that's so good. And I'm just curious, what is your favorite
Business in
business in
Markham.
Markham?
Oh, there are so many. I mean, because I run this podcast, I'm privileged to have interviewed so many great professionals.
Yes.
There's so my own chiropractor, his name is David Song. He's the owner of a chain of clinics. One of them is in Markham. The original location is here, called Rehab Hero.
Okay.
That's fantastic business. I have two interviewees who previous guests on this podcast,
Hmm.
David Tam and Wendy Zhang. They are here. They're also close to Main Street, Unionville, healthy to dos. One of my friends and now one of my partners is Omar Abdul Sattar on Main Street Markham. He runs a chiropractic clinic, also a chain of clinics rather. Restaurants, so many good restaurants.
Right.
Um, I guess my favorite one in Markham is one called Glass Kitchen. It's on Leslie and Highway 7. Um,
Oh,
Also on this podcast, I interviewed the owner of that. Uh,
yeah,
his name is Keith Pears. So yeah, tons of great restaurants, great businesses. I love Main Street Unionville. I love Main Street Markham. You just walk up and down the strip, and there's so many
exactly.
little mom and pop shops that you're like, I would never thought of this. There's a
Yeah.
great place called Wayne's Cup. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before.
Oh, heard of it, but not been yet.
Yeah, great little cafe. It gives not really children, but like teenagers and young adults with autism a purpose. It gives them like a job to do. It serves
Oh,
coffee, prepare pastries, stuff like that. So very cool business. It's a not-for-profit.
oh,
It's a great
cool.
mission.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. Plus a bunch of massage therapists. There's Tanya Home at Homestead Massage, Main Street Markham and Highway 7. There's Solus Massage, Michelle McDermott. So many great businesses at Markham, and I haven't even scratched the surface of who
Right.
like to visit.
This is so cool. Well, always open to learning more about, cool businesses in Markham.
Oh yeah. These are way definitely up your alley. If you like hip
Right.
massages, you like all that kind of stuff. This is
Exactly. This is so cool.
yeah, absolutely. And I know you mentioned your address before, but let's hear your address one more time. And besides the like physical location, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so again, I'm physically here located at 141 Main Street, Unionville. I'm in a little red heritage home right beside next door restaurant or across from Behind the Alley or beside the Institute, if that helps sort of give you a frame of reference. But also you can look me up on Instagram at Rowena Recommends. So that's how people can find me, of course, through email and by phone number, but I find this probably would be the easiest to find me.
That's awesome. And all these details, the contact details will be in the show notes as well. Rowena,
Sounds,
thank you so much for being on this podcast. This was fantastic. I really appreciate it.
yeah.